Good morning. Now today we will explore something new about the array, and that is what? See, in last lecture we explored about array, and that is what we can say that we learned that the array is the linear data structure, as well as we learned that it is a homogeneous data structure which stores the value in a sequence, and that is the reason why it is known as a contiguous data structure. Now, suppose if I want to declare an array that is of integer, for example, if I am writing a of 10, then what will be the thing? The thing is there will be a 10 allocation for this variable, that is a. So you can say there are 10 declaration of a is there. So you can access each and every value also, and suppose if you want to initialize, then within curly bracket you can initialize the value. Now what happens, see, suppose if you are writing here that is 10, 20 and 30, and suppose if you are not specifying any more value, then what happen? It will store 10 at the a of 0 position, 20 at the a of 1 position, and 30 at the a of 2 position. So your a of 0 will be 10, a of 1 will be 20, a of 2 will be 30, and all the values from a of 3 to a of 9. Why a of 9? Because the index is starting from 0. So range is from 0 to 9. All the value will be stored with the value 0. Why? Because I am not specifying any value over here. So by default value will be 0 if and only if you are initializing at least one value in this array. So how we can do this? One more thing that I want to talk with you guys. Suppose if you are taking here 100 size array and you are using only 3 value, then it's okay. The rest 97 will be occupied with the default value in this particular array. So I want to learn this particular thing. For example, I have integer ARR. And suppose I am writing here 10 is equal to, and that is the value is, for example, 100, 200, 300, and now I am not specifying any value, right? Now I want to list all this value in my console. I want to print all this. So how we can do this? We can take one variable, that is integer I. We can take the loop. We can write here I equal to 0, I less than 9. Why 9? Because the size of the array is 10. So we can run up to 0 to 9. Then you can print the value %d ARR of I. So what happened in this particular case? See, I is my index variable. So what it will do? ARR of 0 it will run first. Then ARR of 1, ARR of 2, ARR of 3, ARR of 4, ARR of 9. And as a result, whenever you run this, you will be able to see that, see, 100, 200 and 300. These are the three values. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 values are displaying. Why? Because I am writing here less than 9. Either you need to write less than or equal 9, or you need to write less than 10. So whenever you write less than 10, then you will get the exact 10 element. But here you can see that the values 0 is there, right? But what happens if you are not initializing any value over here? For example, if you are not initializing any value, and suppose if you are printing the array, then you will get the value that will be the garbage, right? So at least one value you need to initialize. This all values are the garbage, and you can say that the unknown value will be available over here. So in this particular case, I need to initialize at least one. Suppose if I am saying here the first value is 10, then the rest value will be defined as 0, right? So first value will be 10 and the rest will be initialized as a 0. Suppose if you want to initialize all the values as a 0, then you can define at least one value as a 0. So all the values available in the array will be initialized with the 0. But remember, if you are writing here that is 25, then it will initialize only first value as a 25. The rest will be initialized with the 0. But remember, if you are not initializing any value, then what happened? You will get the garbage value over here. So the one thing that must need to clear in you guys, that you need to clear that the array must be initialized either with the 0 or with some value, or later on also you can initialize your array, but before you are printing you need to initialize your array. So right now I'm just initializing my array with the 0, so all the element will be 0. Now what I want to do, I want to write a one program that I want to list each and every value of the array. So we already did this. For example, I have the value like this. This is the value that you can say random value, right? So how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 values are there. I want to display all this. Then this is the perfect code to display all this value. Now I want to write the code that I want to find it out the maximum and minimum from this 10 numbers. So how we can do this? So for that you need to understand a simple logic. The logic is what? Let me write on the paper first. For example, this all are the values of array. Now I want to find it out the maximum and minimum from array. Then how we can proceed for the same? So very simple it is. You can declare your variable max and you can initialize the value first, that will be ARR of 0. So what happened, your first value will be declared as a max and that will be 10. So you can say that the max is equal to 10. Now later on you can run the loop. You can write a loop that is I equal to 0, I less than 10. Why 10? Because there are 10 members are there in the array. Now here in this for loop, you can write the condition. If any value, that is if a of I, any a of I is greater than this maximum variable, right? So max is equal to 10. Suppose 20 is greater than the max, then max will be 20. So max is equal to a of I. If you run this particular loop, then you will get the maximum value. Same you can do for the minimum, right? But first we want to explore the concept of max only. So very simple in this particular case, what we can do before starting with the loop, we can initialize our variable. So I'm declaring the variable max. Now you can write max is equal to ARR of 0. So what happened? My first value, that is 24, will be assigned as a maximum value. Now if any value is greater than this max, so if ARR of I is greater than the max, then max will be ARR of I. So any value is greater than the maximum, then the maximum is that particular value. Simply you can print that maximum among this array is equal to max, that is my variable. You can run this loop and you can see that this program is printing all the numbers and at last it is printing that maximum is equal to 67. Yes, it is correct. Now I want to find it out the minimum also, right? So we all know that in this numbers, the 21 is the minimum number. So I want to find it out that the maximum and minimum both. So again, you can do the same thing that you did for the max. What we can do over here, very simple. We say that the max equal to a of 0. Yes, it is correct. Same way we can say that the first element is the minimum. Right. So a of 0 is the first element and the first element is the minimum. It means I says that the 10 is the minimum. Now if any value is less than the minimum, right, then you can say that the minimum is equal to that particular value. So very simple condition that you can write over here, that this is the maximum, this is the minimum, right? So might be a chance the maximum and minimum both are same if you have only one element, right? So now you can write the condition over here. If ARR of I, if any value is less than minimum, then the minimum is equal to that particular value. You can simply copy this particular statement and you can paste over here and you can print that the minimum from this numbers is equal to this. But I need to declare the variable that is minimum. So now you can declare and you can run and you can see that the maximum number is equal to 67 and minimum is equal to 21. Now suppose anyone from you says that, sir, I want the sum of all these numbers. Can I? Yes, you can do the sum of this number also. It means you can do the total. So suppose if you want to do a total, you can declare the total variable. And here you can just write total is equal to, that is total plus is equal to ARR of I. Now whenever you are adding any value to any variable, you need to declare it with the 0. So you can declare it with the 0, and wonderful thing is what? Here you can display that the total of this number is equal to percentage D, and you can print your total. Right now you will be able to see that the maximum is equal to 67, minimum is equal to 21, and total is equal to 423. So I am able to get that the total numbers are 423. Total numbers are 10 and the total of this 10 numbers is equal to 423. So you can do the sum, minimum, maximum, even you can do the average also. But what happened in this case? In this case, all numbers are fixed. It means I'm passing only 10 numbers, right? Suppose if I'm passing here, that is the 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. It means I'm passing only 5 numbers, right? So what it will do? It will do maximum from this 5. Minimum is definitely 0. Why? Because I'm running up to 10, and whenever you are running up to 10, then your minimum will be 0 and the total is 150. But if you don't want to run this up to this, that is up to 10, then you can write over here that is I less than 5. Suppose if you write I less than 5, then your minimum is equal to 10, maximum is equal to 50, and total is equal to 150. Now what is the wonderful thing? Wonderful thing is size of array is 10, but I am storing only first 5 and I am dealing with only 5 data. So it is possible and you can do this, right? So here you can declare the array of 100 and you can manage only 5, 10, 20 as per your requirement. So I don't want to display here, that is I don't want to static initialization of the variable. It means I don't want to here initialize the value. I want to get it from the user. So runtime I want the value from the user and runtime I want to go ahead. So is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So how we can do this? Let me convert from this particular program. So let me save this particular program as that is demo 33. Please see carefully students what I am doing. See, I have a size of array is equal to 100. It means I have 100 size array and all values are initialized with the 0. Right. Now what I want to do? I want to ask to the user how many numbers you want. Definitely I want to do minimum, maximum and total. So my logic that will be as it is. But I don't want to pass the static value over here, that is direct initialization. I want to get the value from the user, that is runtime. So how we can do this? Simple. Printf enter how many numbers you want. So we will ask to the user that how many numbers you want. So we will declare the one variable that is n. So if user says that I want the 10 numbers, then we will process only 10 values. Now, how many numbers you want? I want the 10 numbers, for example. Right now you can get the 10 values from the user. So how we can get the 10 values from the user? So it is very simple. You can write the loop I equal to 0. I less than n, I plus plus. So suppose if user says that I want the 10 numbers, then 10 times my this loop will be running on. So I will ask to the user every time, that is the enter number. So we will get the number, that will be the 10 times we will get the number, and we will store it into our array. So what happened? My array will be initialized with the runtime value, right? And now we will not run up to I less than 5, but we will run up to I less than n. And you will be able to see that I converted my program into runtime input. So now we will not provide the input from the program itself, but we will ask user to enter the numbers. Now my size is 100, but if user says I want to store only 5, then it is possible. 5, enter the number, 34, 54, 32. Now I am writing here 56 and 43. Now you will be able to see that I entered the 5 numbers. Out of these 5 numbers, the maximum is 56, minimum is 32, and the total is equal to 219. I want the average also. How many numbers? That is also already there. So count is already there. So general functions for the general functions, that is for the group of element that we have, that functions, group functions, we can say that the minimum, maximum, average, sum. So we want, and the count, so we want the count also. So count is equal to percentage d, definitely the n. So if user says that I want the 10 numbers, then the count will be 10. Now I want the average also, so I'm simply writing here average is equal to, and I want the average in the floating point. If you want the average in the floating point, then you can write percentage point 2f. Now here you can declare the one variable, that is minimum, maximum, total. Now you can declare the average, but average should be declared as a float. So I am declaring average as a float. Now here you can write average is equal to, now how many total numbers are there? That will be n. And what is the total? So that will be total. Total divided by n will be my average. So you can print the average also. Now my program is wonderful. Suppose if I says that I want the 8 numbers, right? My array is 100, that is the maximum size, but I want the 8 numbers. So which 8 numbers? 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, right? So maximum is equal to 78, minimum is equal to 23, total is 403, count is 8 and the average is 50. Now you people will be able to see that I'm able to do the maximum, minimum, total, count and average from 8 numbers, right? And that 8 numbers are the user defined, and the array size is 100. Now I don't want only this, I want to find it out the second maximum and second minimum. It means whenever you have, let me do the same thing on the paper first. See, maximum is 30 for example, and the second maximum is 20, right? So we want to do what? We want to find it out from our code that the first maximum is equal to which number, second maximum is equal to which number, and we want the third maximum also, right? So first max, second max and third max I want. It means suppose if I have 70, 80, 90, 100, 200 and 250. This is my array for example, right? Then I want the first maximum is 250, I want the second maximum is 200, and I want the third maximum is 100. It means I want to find it out the first highest, second highest and third highest. Now what is the logic to do this? So very simple. Whenever you want to deal with the first maximum, second maximum. So here you can say that this will be the first maximum. So my max value will denote that this is the first maximum, right? My max says that it is first maximum. If it is second maximum, then my variable is S max. If it is third maximum, then my variable is third max. Now what we will do over here in this particular code, if the value is greater than the maximum, students please see carefully, right? S max is equal to 0 for example, and third max is equal to 0. Now if the value is greater than the maximum, then we will not say that this is the maximum, but what we will do, see, let me show the same thing on the paper. If you found here that 70 is the maximum, right? Then we will declare that the max is equal to 70. Now my next number is 80, right? Is 80 is greater than the max? Definitely yes. So we will not say directly that the max is equal to 80, but we will do first what? We will say that the second max equal to max. So what happened? My max value 70 will be stored in the second max, and then we will say that the max is equal to array of I. So whatever the value you got new, that will be stored into the maximum. But before that, I want to initialize the maximum into second maximum. So what we will do here, if the value is greater than the maximum, then the second maximum is equal to maximum. So my first max will become the second max, and max become the ARR of I. If the value that is greater than the maximum, then you will definitely be able to find it out the second maximum. This is the simple funda. So let me copy this and paste over here that this number will be the second maximum is equal to percentage D, and I want to just print the second maximum. What I did, see, if the value is greater than the maximum, then the maximum will store into second maximum, and the maximum will become that particular number. For example, the number is 200 and the my max is equal to 100. So what happened? Is 200 is greater than 100? Yes. Then the second max will become the max. So my second max will become the 100 and the max will become the 200. So whenever you run this particular code, you will be able to see that it will ask me how many numbers you want. Suppose I want the 6 numbers, right? Which six number? 35, 45, for example, 65, now 15, 25 and 55 for example. Now you will be able to see that the first maximum is equal to 65. But the second maximum is what? The second maximum is, it says that it is 45. It is not 45. It must be a 55. So what happened in this particular case? In this particular case, if ARR of I is greater than the maximum, right, then the second max will become the max. So suppose here you can see that the 45, I got the 65, right? So 65 is greater than the earlier value, that is 45. Yes. So my S max will become the 45 and max will become the 65. Now no any value is greater than the 65, and that is the reason why I'm getting the 45. But I don't want the 45 over here. So we want to do one more condition over here, and that will be what? Else if. Else if. Right? If ARR of I is not greater than max, then check, is it greater than the S max? If it is greater than the S max, then S max is equal to ARR of I. Now my code is correct. Now my code is correct. How many times you want the numbers? I want the 6 numbers. Now, which number? The same number that I passed earlier. 35, 45, 65, 15, 25 and 55. And now you people will be able to see that the first maximum is equal to 65 and the second maximum is equal to 55. Now what I did, see carefully. Simple. If the value is greater than the max, then definitely the second max will become the max. But if value is not greater than the max, but value is greater than the S max, then also my second maximum will be that particular number. Same thing we need to do with the third maximum. Now suppose if you think that, sir, I want to calculate that which number is the third maximum from this. So if you want to find the third maximum from this, then what we can do over here, if any value is greater than the maximum, if any value is greater than the maximum, then what we will do, we will first assign that the third maximum is equal to second maximum, and my second maximum will become the maximum, and my maximum will become that particular number. For example, I have the number that is, let me show you on the paper. For example, see, I have the number that is 100 and 200, and the maximum is equal to, for example, that is 200. So I have three numbers. 200 is the first maximum, then I have a second maximum that is 100, and I have third maximum that is 75. Suppose I have three numbers, right? Now I have the another number, and that is 250. So is 250 is greater than 200? Yes, 250 is greater than the 200. So what we will do? We will do that the first maximum will become this. But before this, what we need to do? We need to store this second maximum into third maximum, first maximum into second maximum, and then we will store this 250 into first maximum, and as a result we will get the first maximum will be 250, second maximum will be 200, and third maximum will become the 100. So we need to do here shifting, and that will be what? If any number is greater than the maximum, then your second maximum will become the third maximum, your maximum will become the second maximum, and this number is greater than the maximum. That is the reason why my max become this particular number. Now if any number is greater than the second, then before this our third maximum will become the second maximum, and my second maximum will become that particular number. If any number that is greater than the third maximum, right? So my third maximum will become that particular number. And now suppose if you run this particular code, definitely we need to do what? We need to print this third maximum also. So how we can print this? Very simple. Here we can print the third maximum is the variable, that is tmax, and here we will print that the third maximum is equal to this particular number. How many numbers you want? I want this six numbers, for example. Which six numbers? That is 35, 45, 55, 15, 25, and 65. Now you people will be able to see that the first maximum is 65, second maximum is 55, third maximum is 45, minimum is 15, total 240, count 6, and average 40. Right? So first, second, and third. What I did nothing. If any number is greater than the maximum, then definitely we will make that particular number maximum. But before this, we need to store our second maximum into third. We will store our highest number into second maximum, and the new number will become our maximum. But if that number is not greater than the maximum, then we will check, is it greater than the second maximum? If yes, then we will store our second maximum into third maximum, and we will store our array number, that is the max number that we found, that will store into second maximum. Why? Because it is not greater than the max, so it will run into else if it is not greater than max, it is not greater than second max, but it is greater than only third max, then my third maximum will become that particular number. So the same thing that we did with the maximum, that you can do with the minimum. Now I want to find it out that which number is occurred how many times. So I want to do a searching for that particular thing also. So can we do the searching? Yes, we can do the searching also. So once it is done, after that, after printing the average and all these things, I want to ask to the user, enter any number to search. Enter any number to search. So I want to search the number. For example, if I enter the number 34, then I want to print that the 34 is occur how many times in this array, right? So we will ask to the user enter number. Definitely we need to declare this particular number. So I'm just declaring the number, that is number. So I want to search that is this number is available in this array. If yes, then I want to print that how many times it is occurred. So very simple, you can go one by one. I equal to 0, I less than n. Why I less than n? Because if you have 10 numbers, then it will run up to 10. If you have 20 numbers, then it will run up to 20. So the number of times you have entered the n, it will run this particular loop. Now I want to check if ARR of I equal number. So if the number is equal, then I want to print the counter, right? So I will just print here, that is definitely if a number is found, then we will assign the variable here that will be found equal to 1, and we will say that counter plus plus. So what I did? Nothing. I declared the two variable over here, that is found is equal to 0. By default, there will be no found, and count equal to 0. Why? Because if the record is found, then and then we will increment the value. Now here we will simply print if found. It means if the found is equal to 1, then we will print that the percentage D is found percentage D times, right? So percentage D is my number, and percentage D times means counter, but if and only if it is found. Else we will simply print that number, that is percentage D not found, and we will print the number available over here. Now let me run this particular program. Now how many times? See, total size is 100. How many numbers you want? I want the 10 numbers. Now enter the numbers. For example, 34, 54, 43, 32, 34 again, right? 54, 65, 67, 34 again, 56. Now see what happens. See, it prints the first maximum, second maximum, third maximum, minimum, total, count, average, and now it asking me enter any number to search. Suppose if I says that 34. Now 34 is found how many times? 34 is found 3 times, right? So it is working properly. If the number is not found, then it will definitely print that the number is not found. So once it is done, right, you can check. Suppose if I am writing how many numbers, I want the 3 numbers 10, 20 and 30. Now I want enter any number to search. For example, I am writing here 50, then it will say that the 50 is not found. It means my logic is perfect. So you can do the searching with the array also. So what we learned today, we learned searching in array, we learned finding maximum from array, we learned finding second maximum, third maximum, minimum from array, we learned to make the sum of every element in array, we learn to calculate the average of the number passed in array. We taken the input from the user, and that is the dynamic. First we learn how to pass the direct initialization and how to do this, and then we pass the value runtime to the user on console, and then we calculate the same. So this is the way you can deal with the array.